Hey.
Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to another smooth transition opening of the Jimmy Palumbo Show. That's right, show number 196. Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to another fine edition of the Jimmy Palumbo Show. That is right. Of course, Tyson Hogan taking the steam out of my picks here. As always, I guess maybe he goes to the same websites. Show number 196. But you know what? One thing you didn't mention, Tyson Hogan, you forget. There has never been a New York Yankee number 96. You got to bring that up first. If there's a never, just like with Bob Lilly, there's never been another one after him. Whatever was that, Bob Lilly? Whatever number he was, has never been one and done. He started and then
not true at all. Not true at all.
No, Bob Lilly, one of those Cowboys. He got there.
Aikman, Emmett, those guys. Staubach.
No, they're not Bob Lilly. No, but Aikman number was used before.
Aikman, no other single human being ever used 8 after Aikman.
After Aikman, I'm talking about ever one number like Luke Gehrig, number 4 in the Yankees, and that's it.
I'm saying, all right, fine, makes sense.
That's fine, man. Read the transcripts of the trial here, Tyson Hogan. Before I start telling Tyson Hogan and Dave Sturcho to go fuck themselves here on a beautiful Wednesday. Now, first of all, it's show number 196. One Barry Cofield. One Malik Collins, one Marcus Spears for the Sturcho family, and one Clyde Simmons, one of the greatest Eagles of all time, 121 sacks total. That's a lot of sacks. And that is our show 196. What's up, Dave? Another classic start here to the Jimmy Palumbo Show. A day later, I was on the game time decision yesterday. I had brutal this show is going to be the most fucked up show I think ever. First of all, I public service announcement.
PSA.
I had to get a tooth removed, and because I had to take one out, they were like, "Well, we're going to maybe do some implants. Let's take another one out." First of all, in the modern technology, okay, let me explain to my viewers how this works. In the modern technology, everything is modern. There's a receptionist, there's video cameras, there's all this stuff. But then at one point in the procedure, it becomes like the year 1812. Okay, this guy, he numbs me up. He was wonderful. He was walking me through it. Okay, and then he's like, "Well, the one tooth may crack and stuff." And then all of a sudden, "Okay, Jimmy, here we go." And I'm like, "All right." Then he numbs me up with the gel. I'm like, "Oh." Then he hit me with a few Novocaine shots. Then he says, "Hey, I'm going to hit you with 2 shots here. It's going to hurt for 1 second, and then it won't hurt anymore." He did it. Boom. It hurt like a bitch for literally 1 second. Then it was gone. All right. Second time, bang. Oh, shit. Gone in 1 second. And then that's when it became Little House on the Prairie. This guy was leaning up. First of all, he took out a tool that I thought like, I'm sure my father has one of these. I had one of these that is like, it just was like a pliers. I felt like I was in Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer with the dentist guy and Bumble's Bounce. This guy starts ripping this tooth out. I hear splintering, shattering of my tooth in my mouth. And then he's like, "Breathe out through your nose." Maybe I had a little cold yesterday. Then this suction cup was sucking out parts of my asshole, I couldn't fucking breathe, right? I'm like, well, so the lady said, "If you get in trouble, just raise your left hand." So about 3 minutes in, I was doing all right. Next thing you know, I couldn't breathe. The fucking suction cup was sucking my air out of my ass. And I was like, I said, "Well," I totally raised the flag. They stop everything. He's like, "What's up?" I'm like, "What's up? You're fucking gouging my teeth out and I can't breathe. And so I'm going to have no teeth and I can't breathe. How are we moving?" I look like the Giant offense now. So then he was up on my shoulder to get leverage, ripping this tooth out. I was like, "Oh my," I think part of my esophagus came out. And then all of a sudden he was like,
"You don't feel any of this?
You don't feel it pain wise, but you still feel like someone's raping your mouth." I was like, this was brutal. And then he's like, "Okay, we got the one out. Now I got to go for that wisdom tooth." And I'm thinking, Now, for some reason, you think like wisdom tooth was like a big O line. Like that ain't go. This other one was like a shitty little cornerback that you knock out of bounds, right?
Mhm.
This, he grabs onto this thing and you feel it like I'm like, oh my God, he's going to rip this through my soul. Now, I'm not saying it's childbirth. I'm not saying it's open heart surgery. All I'm saying is it became, like I said, Little House on the Prairie, 1812. And next thing you know, foop, I'm like Jabberwocky. And I'm like, I was like, what? And then the guy shakes my hand, literally less than a minute. He goes, okay, James, I'm done. Have a wonderful holiday. He's gone. I was like, and the Knicks. While I'm talking over, I was like, then the lady's like, shoves this gauze up my mouth. I swear, I was in my car 2.5 minutes after the tooth was out of my mouth. I was like, what the fuck? How about a little Kiner's Corner, or a little TV timeout, a little interview after the game? Well, Palumbo, you threw for 300 yards. Nothing. But he was very nice. He got it done. So then yesterday I was going to do the show, but I just couldn't. My mouth was like gauze. I was bleeding.
When the Novocaine wore off, how did it feel?
Well, I had literally like 1,100 milligrams of like Advil they gave me.
Okay.
So I've been a little bit in the middle of the night last night. I was like, yeah, we're not done yet. But this morning I woke up, popped more pills, but not painkillers. None of those. Like, I'm not going to become a drug addict, although that's the only way to make money in showbiz, become a drug addict. But so I'm seriously thinking about it. Oxycodone day here at the Shea. I remember my first Oxy.
You say Oxy Magic. I say Oxycodone.
Oxycodone. That's right. We were ranked number 1,100 in podcasting. Started doing Oxycodone, and me and Joe Rogan are neck and neck for followers. As Dave shoves a potato chip in his mouth, you fat fuck. Whatever the hell. Whoa, a Ritz. You are just a fat bastard. What
are you talking about? The little 6-pack thing. It's my son. I fucking ripped it off of him.
Listen, I did that for years. As a matter of fact, I used to get mad when my daughter's snacks were shitty. Like I didn't care if the kid liked them. If I didn't like them, I deemed them shitty.
I got reamed last night because when towards the end of the nights, I like to indulge in my edibles, right, and just kind of coast into the night and get a little good feeling, right? And I'm good. And I bust out a bag of Swedish fish, and my wife was like, "Are you eating the kid's Swedish fish?" I said, "You're goddamn right."
Oh my God!
I did a fucking quick check. I can go grab another one. We're good.
I've been there. One time I ate Natalie's little mini Chips Ahoy cookie. Of course, I was having scotch, and I had about 4 bags of those. There's nothing left in the morning for her. Anyway, so that was that. Show number 196, baseball court time here at Shea. This guy just is another classic shitty guy, but not really. His name was Brian Smith, which Bryn. Hold him up. He looks like
that's Bryn.
Bryn, I don't know. Well, maybe it's Bryn. No, it can't be Bryn. That's a girl.
Bryn. There's no other syllable in there.
I don't know his name. There was nothing on Wikipedia. Anybody out there find out how to fucking announce the guy's name. I don't know. Either way, he was 108 and 94.
You did say was. This guy's name was. So
he's not dead.
Oh. Okay.
He was 108 and 94, 3.53 ERA. So he's a $7 million guy right now. 255 starts, 13 years in the league from 81 to 93. Played for Montreal, St. Louis, and Colorado. In 1985, he was 18-5 with a 2.91 ERA, which would make him easily the best pitcher in baseball. Yes. 32 starts. He made about $2 million a year. But again, funniest thing is he's the first pitcher to win a game for the Rockies. Can't take that away from him. He got to win. First cool. One is probably expansion. That's where he ended up there.
Rockies come out like late 80s, early 90s?
Had to be like 92, 93 maybe in that era.
Right, that late? Okay.
Yeah. He's the oldest former Rockies player. That means he was shot. What that means is he was shot when the Rockies took him in the expansion, and I believe he was cut by June of the first years.
There you go.
But his name, Brian or Bryn, however you want to do this, is not because his parents said, "Oh, let's go with a clever name." He named it after his great-grandfather, whose name was Bester Robert Young Nisbet. That's how they got his name, by using an acronym from his grandfather's name.
It's a mouthful.
So God bless America. And that's it. He's still alive, but he just, he tries to get baseball fields built in Louisiana or something like that. No, not from Louisiana. Where the hell he was from? It's on this shitty card here.
Kentucky?
No, Santa Maria, California. Up in
Yes.
So that's it. Bryn or Brian Smith. That's who it is.
And if you open up the phone book, there's 57,000 of Brian.
Never
Smith.
find a Smith. My grandfather's trying to get him. I'm trying to get my grandfather a medal from World War I. One of the guys he got it with his last name Smith. So you fucked. But it's Ivan. How many Ivan Smith? But back then, like, oh, Ivan. But
speaking of Russian.
speaking of Russian, yes. So of course, Patreon. I got to give a shout out to Brian Shevlin, my one of my best friends from Colonia and roommates at Rutgers. He works for a liquor company, and I had a gig on Saturday, and he dropped off a massive amount of liquor to me. He's got to hand it off to me. There's no shipping. So I was like, you fat fuck drinking that, eating that Ritz cracker. And he gave me like 2 huge boxes. There's all kinds of big thing of Jameson and Absolute and a Jefferson bourbon and bottles of wine out the wazoo, which will be regifted when I go to a shitty Christmas party. But
I know what I'm getting for Christmas.
Yes, and also a shout out to Pat Volkamer, who was in New York this weekend, and I did not see him.
Thank God.
And also, I know Dave's nemesis, crazy Pat.
I haven't seen much of him on Chop.
I know. I think his dad might be sick. I got to check in on that. That's why maybe he came home. I got to find out about that. And also, Dave Ben, one of my oldest friends. Really, I met him in first grade at St. John's, circa 1970, and we went to, as you well know, St. John's, Colonia High, and Rutgers. He's the only guy I went through all years of my education. It was with Dave Ben, backwards Devad Neb. I still remember that. And it's our other buddy, Kurtap Oikalak, which is Patrick Colicchio backwards. Also, Fred Evans is Derf Snave.
Are you sure the Novocaine wore off?
And I am Yamij Abmulap and my cousin Nahaj Abmulap. Why I still remember that?
You all sound like terrorists.
Yes, it's unbelievable. So, shout out on my Patreon, Patreon hasn't moved in a while. Maybe everybody hates me.
God damn it, people. Twitter, listen, follow me. I knew following me. Go look up Jimmy Palumbo on the old.
I'm also redoing, those of you scoring at home, I will be seeing my new website will be launched on, not launched, well, I'll be looking at it Friday, and I'm going to be doing, with Dave's help, my website guy was like, Jimmy, your shit's all over the place. And I have websites and YouTube channels and Facebook pages and all over the place. He's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I don't know. Like, everybody has I want to have it where only me and Dave have the passcodes. I think there's like 11 people. Like, someone could go in right now and change something.
But you're that weirdo that like hits like generate password. So it's like it's never
mine are
like big dog 1 2 3. No, it's like XZ1.
Yes, well, it's from the Mac. But the thing is, I don't even know who has them, and there's websites that are like created by me, by someone in my past. So we'll be narrowing that. The show will still be, it'll be on Chop, but we're going to put it on my channel as well, but not live afterwards. Whatever the hell, Dave's going to get a rash trying to figure out where to slap this shit. But it'll be all, and then you can go to my website and get the different stuff. And I'm actually going to learn how to do shit on the website. So if I get a gig, which I just booked a bunch of gigs, which I'll talk about in a minute. So that is interesting. I hope the new website looks good. Matter of fact, Dave, you know what? I'm such an ass. I'm going to have you actually, before it launches, I'm going to have you look at it because I want to make sure that I hate a website. I don't know why we're talking about this. I hate a website that is not intuitive. You ever go to a website even to buy something and you have your credit card out and you're like, I can't figure this out. You know what I mean? And then there's other websites where if you verbalize to the screen, like buy it, you hear the guy knocking at your door. Hey, Jimmy, did you order these paper clips? And then other websites are like, did I order it? Is it there? I gotta have T-shirts there.
I mean, nobody will ever do what Amazon has done, and that's take over the purchasing game.
Yes,
every day this Christmas season, I've seen my same Amazon guy.
Yes. And then every month when you get your credit card bill, there he is, right there inside the Miami 5. I know Amazon is just they are.
I just got in a fight downstairs with my wife. She's working from home. We're trying to figure out She's like, oh, this crawling baby that we got Stella for Christmas, right? It's available at Target right now. Like, we bought it. It's there, but we bought it like 2 weeks ago. They hit us up today and they're like, hey, if you don't come get this today, we're putting it back on the shelf. I said, what the fuck? I was like, what was the point of buying it early then? If you guys aren't going to hold on to it, like, obviously it wasn't 2 weeks, but you know what I mean? Like, they're like, you got to come get it today. And I was like, this is fucking turbo, man.
You'll be at Target. You'll be at Target.
I told her, I was like, I got to go. I got to do the Jimmy Palumbo show. You got to go.
Listen.
So now you're going to be number one right now.
Okay, all right. Well, listen, you should have picked up instead of going out watching your shitty Cowboys, you should have went out and
they gave us the email today.
I know. I listen. Natalie's gifts I ordered. No one knows where they are right now.
Target, rich.
But the bottom line is, I know while you're at Target, Dave, I'm sure your carpets are shitty. So why don't you call OxyMagicUSA.com?
Sure will.
Why? MagicUSA.com. We're trying to get some sales for this young fella by calling. There it is, Dave, with the wonderful production value here from the stadium. Oxy Magic USA. It dries in 1 to 2 hours. They're great. They come. They help you move the furniture. They don't even move it that much. The guy knows what he's doing. He's in, he's out. It was absolutely awesome. Oxy Magic USA. And if you want to possibly own a business, which me and Dave, instead of eating Ritz crackers on my show, might be doing carpet cleaning.
That's all I can afford on the Jimmy Palumbo salary.
Yeah, salary. Okay, I love that Friday email I get. Good evening, everybody. Anyway, Oxy Magic USA. They're great people. Talk to Tom and Natalie. And they're all green and all that, so it doesn't smell like shit.
All green.
OxyMagicUSA.com. OXYMagicUSA.com here from the Omni. Couple of things, I guess, on the show. I don't know. I'm in a shitty mood today. In a different kind of shitty mood, not the normal shitty mood. I went to a funeral this morning. God damn. A woman in town, I guess I could say her name, Jennifer Paradiso. She was only 44, married to Anthony Paradiso. They got 3 kids, Anthony, Dante, and little Sophia.
Sick.
She passed away of cancer. Just too young, really hit home. I started thinking, I'm one of those asshole guys, like breast cancer. And when they do that, what is it? Susan G. Komen, the pink stuff at Yankee Stadium, when the Yankees are wearing pink stuff. I'm one of those guys joking around, you know what? The Yankees should wear their regular uniform and then write a $3 million check to this, and say, we're not wearing the pink. I'm one of those guys, right? And then something like this happens and you're like, you know what? And I started thinking, matter of fact, I got on the phone with my sister. There's, for some reason, I always feel like there's this breast cancer thing where it's like, oh, they really know what they're doing now, that a lot of people survive and all that. And then I'm like, well, yeah, but also like, no, like people get, a person feels a lump, they get it taken out. The lump shows that it's cancerous and they do the either chemo or get the breast removed, whatever, all that stuff. And then, oh yeah, they beat it. And then all of a sudden, like a couple years later, you lose. And I just, listen, we got a bunch of assholes listening to the show, myself included, and Dave. But like, I started thinking, like, I asked my sister, like, do you get the mammograms? And turns out my sister is very vigilant about that because she had a scare back in the day when she was 19, which I don't recall. And she goes like all the time, which is cool. And she never had anything, come back really shitty, but she's had a few removed and all that stuff. And I started thinking, like, to all my fan base, like, and David, like, you should be able to like, does your wife, like, tell your wife to go get a mammogram tomorrow?
I mean, to be honest with you, my mother-in-law, Steph's mom, has beat it 3 times.
Right. Unbelievable.
And it's like, and now that it's, I don't want to say hereditary, but like her grandmother passed from it. So now it's within the bloodline, right? So Yeah, I would love my wife to make sure that she just keeps
Is
getting.
she being diligent about it? For this
Yeah, I
is
mean,
for all
she,
the guys, because the guys don't get involved with the
I mean,
gyno shit.
the guys should go. The guys should go when they're older and they get their prostates examined and stuff like that
Right.
to make sure things are on the up and up. But
Some guys
yeah, I
don't
mean,
do that. They
some
don't
guys
even
don't
do
do that.
that.
I'm probably, you know what? I'm not saying that I'm not going to be that guy, but like the last thing in my life I want to ever deal with is a colonoscopy. But you know, like it's just something you gotta
Dude,
do,
you got
right?
to do it, bro.
And
Go
right
get
now,
it. Do you get a yearly physical?
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
I have to because of
All
all the
right.
shit that I'm on, and I
Right. That's
do.
great. But
Um,
what I'm trying to say is I know, listen, I'm not,
and shout again, not to cut you off, but shout out to my Aunt Janice who's currently fighting this shit. So it's
right.
like it's
I know,
temporary, you know?
and a lot of people do beat it. I'm not trying to be Debbie
Yeah, no,
Downer
of
here
course.
on that, but I'm trying to say is I think uh you get like it's almost like, oh yeah, a lot of people beat it. Yeah, but a lot of people don't.
Right.
And they die from it. Now, it may be 5 years later, but you die from it. And I started thinking, like, so like make sure your wife gets a mammogram. And I think
Yeah.
there's one called a high density and low density one.
Well, whatchamacallit, Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott just put out a video where his Faith Fight and Finish Foundation is specifically designed for people to get early detection, right? And early detection is the only way that you can get ahead of any of this.
Absolutely. And
And, you
yeah,
know,
and
it'll
I
save you.
just it just hit me that like I can't do anything about this. I can't donate millions of dollars. I'm not Elon Musk, you know. But what I can do is like a bunch of sport fans on here. It's like, hey, you know what? If you're married or your girlfriend or your mom or your sister, like look, you know, and say, hey, are you getting mammogram? And when they say, no, my doctor, no, go. Like, go for me, Dad. Go for your kid. Like, and same thing with men's shit, you know, finger up the ass, colonoscopies, all that shit. Get it done because that's the only thing you can do. And also, I don't think I'm going to make. I used to always make jokes on any of these. Like I said, watching a Yankee game, especially 4th of July, and everybody's wearing crazy uniforms. Now I'm just not going to do that. That Coleman thing is really wild. One woman started it. Now every league wears stuff, and it's just like I said. Sometimes you go to a funeral and you're sitting there going like, shit, this guy's got to raise 3 kids on his own and good guy. And I know the kids were strong. I know he's strong. He's got a good family, good support system. And I think they're going to be okay. But like, fuck, go get your mammogram. I don't give a fuck who you are. And if you're a guy, my wife handles it. No, ask her. I guarantee you. I wish I could do a stat on how many dads, if they or husbands, boyfriend, doesn't matter, went up to their partner and said, hey, you get this shit checked. I guarantee you, not everybody's gonna be like, oh yeah, honey, of course. No, they're gonna be like, I know, I got it. You know, I got it done like 4 years ago. Like, no, fuck you. Get it done. Get it done.
Somebody like myself who, you know my schedule. Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'm on like double dad duty. When my wife's in the city, like I don't have any help. It's just me. And sometimes I struggle heavily with those two animals running around the house. I can't even remotely think about not having that help at home on the regular. So it's like, if anybody's going to be on you about this, it's going to be me because I'm not doing this shit alone. You know what I mean? Like, you don't turn it into a light situation, but
I agree. It's
you got the whole family at home, you know?
I just was sitting there at the mass today and it's Christmas time and
it's
shit.
time,
and I said to myself, what can I do? I really like the husband. I said to myself, I'll wait a couple months, things settle down a little bit. I gotta grab a beer with him or something like that.
Well, I mean, not to turn this into a gig for you, but a lot of times if something close happens to me or anybody that I know that's in a position of doing something as like a benefit, like you do a lot of stand-up comedy and shit, like there's nothing that's stopping you from going to the local VFW and say, hey man, I want to put on a show and I don't want to make any money. I just want everybody who buys a ticket, we're going to donate to the family, who just lost their mother.
Yeah. There's a GoFundMe page for some college stuff for the kids. Maybe I will do that. I got some comics now. My buddy Ryan Marr and
you have
some other guys. He'll come up and do a free show.
You have enough of a Rolodex of people that will help you out. You know what I mean? And we'll raise money for
I think I'm gonna do that. I'll figure out the right structure to do it. Right. Anyway, I didn't mean to bring the show down. It's just I was sitting there going like, shit. I even call my sister, man, you do all that? So anybody out there, any female listening, if you're driving in a car, listening to my shitty podcast, and you're like, who is this guy? Talks about the Knicks all the time. just I was in such a bad mood. When I'm in a bad mood, I wear the LT shirt because that's how you settle yourself down with the shitty mark missing here. I'm gonna get a new jersey this year, maybe. Anyway, go get tested. Go get mammogram. Stay on top. Get blood work once a year. Give yourself 13 rounds to win the fight instead of finding out in the 13th round, and then you look like Clubber Lang. So anyway, what else? Giants. I got nothing to say. They're a mess, man. This is I've been asking people. Older people, like I said, the last couple of weeks, like, was it this bad? And they're all saying, like, yeah, it's bad. It's the worst ever. I don't know who they should really. I really hope they lose. I know you're not. You're the opposite. You want your team to win every Saturday, but it's good. It's either going to be. Let's face it, the Giants are either going to get Hunter, Cam Ward, or Shedeur Sanders. I don't know which way to go. I want Shedeur because that way I can have another shitty asshole player like Ruben Sierra, Stanton, Strawberry, or Cecil Fielder. All my guys who were flawed. I watched the kid play. I don't know what everybody else is watching. All I know is, you know what his biggest problem is? He always takes the field down. He takes the team downfield and they score. That's not popular with the Giants. Like, so they get the ball to 5.
He's going against everything the Giants have stand for lately.
Yes. It's like I felt the same way. Like, I felt the same way when Penn State had Trace McSorley. It was like, yeah, he's too short. I know it stinks. They get the ball at the 11 and they go right downfield and they score every fucking time. And so the Giants, we can't take Shedeur. He'll bring a circus, and Sanders won't let him play. I'm like, I know, because things have been rough. We're like the Chiefs. Why would we draft
another week of flyovers? I mean, a lot of stuff going on in the air now.
Anyway, now the Jets. Listen, they won a game, but Jets stink. Oh my God, they're at the 1 yard line. Time's running out, but they get the ball back. The team still had like 8 timeouts left. They could have easily lost. The Jets are a mess. I know Rodgers had I know on Mike Francesa's podcast, which I'm a big fan of, along with Dave Sturcho's podcast. Go check that out. We'll talk about that at the end. The Jets stink, and they stink in a different way. I don't know. Cowboys, they won a game. God bless. I know you were happy. It's great for Giants because the Cowboys they're about to enter that. We're not really going to get anybody in the draft once if they win a couple more games. However, I looked at the standings, and it's unbelievable how the Cowboys they're a lot has to go their way. I'm not going to lie to you.
They're still, quote, in the hunt.
Yeah, they are still in the hunt. And a couple of losses early in the season.
We dissected this on the Jersey Boys podcast this week. Myself, Brett, and Keith Ernst. We were like, okay, so here's what needs to happen, right? We just went into this laundry list of shit. And while is ridiculously unrealistic as it is, it at least gives you something to like, hey,
and then once you're eliminated, then you really hope that you're supposed to get.
And it's like, what are we doing?
I'm not a Cowboy fan, so me, if they finish 8 and 9, that means you get shit. But knowing the Cowboys, they'll do something good and they'll get a bigger pick. But I remember my cousin John years ago, before the internet, I'd be like, John, the Giants would be like, I don't know, 6-6 or something like that. I'm like, John, how the Giants get in? And he would send me an email like, okay, we need Tampa Bay to win. We need the Saints to lose. We would go through, and then if the Giants won, we go to the next week. Okay, now Giants are 7-6. We need, and 1 year, I swear to God, I wish I knew the year. I should probably. There was like 4 games left, and the Giants needed 17 out of 18 things to go their way, and it was like bam, bam, bam. The Giants got in. I think they won a playoff game. They lost the second round, but there are ways. But now ESPN, by the way, ESPN.com. If anybody's listening. You do a shitty job. I think it should be more. I think my cousin John should run the In the Hunt page.
ESPN's website is no good to me.
Yeah, it is
much.
Shitty.
It's too much. There's so much to navigate. If you want to go sports specific, you go to their website.
Yeah, you go. But I'm talking about when you go to the NFL standings and the playoffs. I want to know, like, Cowboys need to, like, I want to be able to click on it and says Cowboys need to go 3-0. Tampa Bay leads. All they do is say who the tiebreaker right ahead of them is, and you're like, no, I don't give a fuck. Anyway, I went on a tangent there. Rutgers hoops, big win Saturday.
Harper, beautiful,
really wild. But I sound like an asshole fan now. Seton Hall, I don't think is that good. I don't think Seton Hall is going to make the tournament. They're a tough older team. Seton Hall has men playing for them. Rutgers looks like Miles and my daughter Natalie play on their team. But listen, they let the game slip away. They were missing free throws at the end. Harper and Bailey missed 4 with under a minute to go, and Seton Hall tied up.
I would recall that ending, that Harper banger at the end, the buzzer beater. I think the best video I saw was like courtside video behind, right? So like the people that were sitting, under the hoop were Eric LeGrand and your boy Fat Frank from Barstool, who is
he was there. The governor was there. There's a lot of people.
But the best part was when he makes the shot, the camera pans over to Eric LeGrand, and he makes this face at Fat Frank. And actually, I took a screenshot of it. It was hilarious. I took a screenshot. I put it on Twitter, and Eric LeGrand reshared it to all his followers, like my picture.
That's great,
because it was such a funny a moment where he was like, "Oh shit,"
probably Frank the Tank's a Seton Hall fan. He was like that.
Frank the Tank. Again, I can do a whole podcast on why I think
he's funny. Leave him alone. But he came on our show too. So I can't.
Dude, he is the worst thing.
I think you know what? I think he's funny as hell.
Yeah, he's a walking heart attack is what he is.
I know, but he's got more followers than we do.
Sure, and you know why? Because people want to see him crash out.
All right, well,
it's like watching air disasters.
I think exactly right. That's what we should do. We should do the air disaster podcast where you come here to watch us.
Yeah, we'll do that, and we'll fly our drones, and
so we got fucking drones. So what else we got here? I have so little to even talk about. Yeah. So all right. Well, that's on the sports. But speaking of sports, maybe it's time to put on my adorable niece here at Shea. Oscar Madison, as I call her, Oscar Madison and the Big O. I don't know why I call her that. Just do, because her last name is Madison, and Oscar Madison is one of my favorite shows. She knows she's listening to it.
This week's Minute with Madison brought to you by Absolute Eyewear. She dives into her entire fantasy football lineup, and I have some comments about it. And
some
fun shit that's happening.
You comment about the players. I'll comment about how much fantasy football is horrific.
There you go. Good idea, Madison. Take it away, kiddo.
Thanks, guys. Welcome back to a Minute with Madison. This week, it's going to be a little bit longer than a minute, but this segment is not just with me. It's also with my fantasy football team. This was my second year of doing fantasy football, and I finished with a 9-5 record, and I made the first round of the playoffs, but I unfortunately was eliminated last night. For my quarterbacks, I went with Patrick Mahomes and Geno Smith. Patrick Mahomes was my starting quarterback, and Smith was more of a backup. Smith always would put up a lot of yards, but it'd come with a few interceptions or a fumble, so I knew that Patrick Mahomes was the solid and safer option. Mahomes put up 15.76 points on this week. Moving on to running backs, I had amazing running backs this season. This was definitely my strongest position. I had Derrick Henry, Chuba Hubbard, and Joe Mixon. Henry put up 6.7 points this week. Hubbard put up 8.9, and Mixon put up 10.6. I would have Henry and Hubbard in the running back slots, and I would usually have Joe Mixon as my flex position player. It was very rare that they wouldn't put up at least 10 points per week. Each running back would usually give me a touchdown every week, but this week it was a little bit on the slower side. I was pretty disappointed. Moving on to my wide receivers, I had CeeDee Lamb, Jamison Williams, and Romeo Doubs. Lamb put up 26.6 points, Williams 12.7, and Dobbs 19. And of course, Dobbs was on my bench this week when I really needed him to be in my starting lineup because he had a much better game than Jamison Williams. CeeDee Lamb was kind of a hit or miss every week. He didn't really have a quarterback, so some weeks he would do really well, and then some weeks I'm like, why am I starting CeeDee Lamb? This is ridiculous. I love him as a player, and when he would only give me like 5 points a week, I was like, should I bench him? I don't know. Moving on to my tight ends, I also had some pretty strong tight ends. I had Brock Bowers and Dalton Kincaid. Bowers had an amazing rookie season. He gave me only 6.5 points yesterday, and Kincaid gave me 9.3. So I probably should have started Kincaid in this week's matchup, but I mean, Bowers, he is a really strong player. Like I said, he had a great rookie season, and he was by far one of the best tight ends in the league this season so far, so I was really lucky to get him. I also, for my defense, I had the Bills and I also had the Packers. The Bills, they've been having a really good season. They have a strong defense, but the last 3 weeks or so, they were giving me negative points. So I was like, we got to switch this up. I need to pick up a better defense. So I picked up the Packers, and they actually gave me 16 points yesterday, which is a lot of points for defense. You know, you're lucky if you get above 10 points in fantasy for your defense. And lastly, the really tough subject to talk about, the kicker. As you guys know, I did have Justin Tucker, but I ended up dropping him and was just picking up a new kicker for the last 2 weeks or so because of Tucker's performance this season. He was just not living up to my expectations, and I needed a new kicker because he was missing field goals and extra points left and right, and it was only hurting my team in the end. I can't believe fantasy is already over this season, but I'm looking forward to having another fantasy team next year. Thanks, guys. Back to you.
All right, a recap of fantasy getting knocked out in the first round.
It's tough sledding. Great team overall. I think that she really did well draft-wise. 9-5, nothing to sneeze at as far as the regular season record, getting the playoffs. But I know the feeling of some of these guys getting into the playoffs and just underperforming on the day that you need them to do the best, right? And it's like, oh, it's just a matter of matchups. This week, coming up in the Battle of Eric Drive, where, you know, somebody might live, my father, in Fords, right? It is Dave Sturcio taking on his little brother, Danny Sturcio, in a chance to go to the finals of the Fords Fantasy Football Championship. There will be bloodshed. There will be tears, but somebody's going to come out of there and go to the title game. And what's weird is that we're playing each other, but I also recruited my brother as a teammate to draft in another league in which we're also in the semifinals, and we could potentially go to the finals there. I have a chance to make some bank if I get to 2 finals. Like, well, that's significant coin.
That'll be good for gifts for Miles. Well, actually, no, the gifts are already bought to pay off your credit card, because right around mid-January, a high spiraling kick taken by Sturcio on zone 5, and he is knocked out of bounds immediately. Well, that's it. Listen, in terms of my fantasy, I had a nightmare. What happened was I sat next to someone at a bar who had a fantasy team, and it was crowded. I had to listen to him for 10 minutes talk about his fantasy team. That was the extent of my fantasy football, the dumbest, horrific thing to ever happen to sports. I don't care. I'll stick to my guns. Me and my brother, whenever me and my brother agree on something, it's the best. I would have took CD Lamb, not Mahomes. No, I probably would have took Mahomes.
Mahomes is pulling the whole, I'm hurt right before the playoffs. Everybody feel bad for me. It's like, get it back on the field, you bitch.
Well, I hate him. Yeah, I know. He's like, they're 17-1. I can't.
He's literally become the new Tom Brady for me. Like, I'm just like,
I get it. I've been there.
And I want to punch him in his face.
I made my prediction. My predictions, with Stanton was going to get hot in the playoffs, and the Jets weren't going to make the playoffs, and Soto would bat under 290. I predicted the Chiefs will not win the Super Bowl this year, and also that the Rutgers will not make the NCAA tournament. I really hope I'm wrong there. Yeah, I know, but it's a men's league. Big Ten's a men's league. Big right-handers there, and you're not skinny little kids. Yankees made some moves post Soto. Now, the Cody Bellinger, first of all, Cody. I hate names like Cody.
They traded a Cody for a Cody.
Anyway, he's good, I guess.
He's going to play center field.
Yeah, he'll play. Yeah, he'll end up. You know what, though? No matter who the Yankees trade for, they always end up playing a little bit of third base. I don't know. Even if you're like if they signed a pitcher, he play third base for 10 games. But he's pretty good. Now, the Devin Williams guy, I remember, I don't follow the National League over there, but I remember he gave up some big home runs to the Mets and shit. But I didn't realize he was clearly the best closer in baseball.
He was a closer. He was a closer for Team USA in the World Baseball Classic.
So that's a big move. If he ends up being good, and we could throw that other jerk off to pitch the 8th inning, and then we got Bellinger.
Why is he a jerk off?
What's his name? The guy who closed last year. He could.
Not Clay. Clay's gone.
Not Clay. The other guy. The guy who.
Oh, Weaver.
We
Love
could have him pitch the
Oh.
eighth. They're all jerk-offs. And they're that could be a really Yankees could be tough. And
don't forget Max Fried.
And
Like
Fried, yep.
He got introduced today. And can I pontificate for a second?
You can.
It's a big word. The dumbest rule in team sports history is the Yankees no facial hair rule. I'm sorry, Jimmy. Like while you grew up in a time where it was more like a manly, clean shaven.
Yeah, you hate it.
Ought to be. Fuck, dude. Because what they're doing is they're changing the landscape of these people. Like the Max Fried used to have an awesome little like a summer beard. I call it summer beard, meaning like summer here, summer here, summer here. Like and then like a nice mustache. Gone today in his press conference. All gone. Devin Williams had a solid, awesome, lined up, crisp lineup. Gone. Like it's to play a fucking sport.
I agree. Listen.
Jimmy,
Listen,
you might
Mariano Rivera, no beard. Derek
fine.
Jeter, no beard.
Fine. I get
Paul
it. But
O'Neill,
you know when Jeter looked,
beard.
You know what?
The jewelry. You go to the jewelry store and you buy a World Series ring. So you take your beards and that Red Sox bullshit. Although I will tell you this, right now I'm totally for the rule, right? To shave. But like in 6-7 years from now, if the Yankees haven't done shit and the Mets have won like 3 World Series, something like that, and all of a sudden I'm like, you know what? Put the beards on. I want the beard. I think what they should do, if I was a Yankee, I mean, listen, no beards until we're eliminated from the playoffs. The day we're eliminated, grow the beards, kid.
No,
they'll be like, oh, some guys will probably, with the money they make, they'll throw the game.
I understand what they're going for.
That's because you have a beard.
No. But that's a choice, and it's because if I don't have a beard, I feel like I'm 7, and I'm also like this right here. If I go,
when's the last time you shaved?
2020, right before when the pandemic was happening.
I don't remember you without a beard. I don't think I met you without a beard.
You didn't know me in 2020. So
I want, you know what? I want Dave Sturgeon to shave.
It'll never happen. It'll never happen.
Your wife must like it, because if she didn't like it, it would go.
I don't give a shit if she said she was allergic.
Oh, wait a minute. A quick time out here.
No. Like, first of all, when I did do it, my daughter was 1.
She would freak out if you shaved.
She freaked out. She didn't know who the hell I was when I came downstairs. I was like, look, Daddy.
Well, that's good. Maybe your wife will freak out the same way and not know who you are. It could make for more fun in the bedroom.
Probably not. But I will say, like, there's
winning the early rounds here.
Yeah, there's a certain what's the kids word they're using now? Aura, right? There's a certain aura that I perform better when I got a fresh cut and a fade in the beard, and I feel better. If you took my beard away, you're taking away my personality, and I won't perform as good. I won't.
You are so full of shit.
I'm telling you can't grow a beard.
No, I can grow a beard. I grew one. I grew like a big one right around here. I look like a country.
Bullshit. I need to find.
I'll show that. You want a picture of it? I'm gonna send you it.
That will be hilarious.
I had a night because you know what I did? Foolishly, I said I'm not going to shave until I get an audition, and then I was mired. Thank God I didn't say that for Patreon. I'd look like, you know what you are? You're nothing more than you'll be playing Santa Claus at the family event pretty much for the rest of your life. You're going to be a big, jolly Santa Claus.
That's what happened. My buddy Joe grew he's a fan of you. He's a fan of the show. He's a great, one of my best friends. He does the same. He's a larger individual. He's like me, like a bigger dude, even bigger than me. And he goes, he's got this phenomenal beard, right? And he played Santa at like a local Elks. So what he did was he sprayed his beard like white, right? Because he's got the gray patches like I do now, so he went full white. So instead of just washing it out, he said it'd be easier just to shave it off. And his wife posted a picture of him shaved. I said, buddy, you are as close as Uncle Fester as I've ever seen. Like, this is horrific. Please spray paint something back on, because this is not working out for you. You can't do it.
I'm going to start calling you Eat, Papa, Eat. You are a vegetarian Santa. How shitty is that?
By the way, I know you won't even pay attention to this, but I do want to show everybody like what this week's thumbnail is that I creatively done. Just because you were, again, out on the injured list, came back with a historic performance. So here is this week's thing, and it's the Willis Reed, and it's Jimmy's face on top of the tree. which is from
yes,
from the
with
chair.
my gel numbing my mouth and Willis Reed. I love that. And by the way, that
That's a
picture of
great
you
thing
was
about
taken. That was taken in the mid-'80s. That picture of you right there.
Which that
Yeah.
that was this summer.
You don't know. Maybe the summer before. You look younger in that picture.
It's because I was tan and I, had a nice little fresh. And look, lo and behold, a fresh cut and a fresh beard.
See that?
And everybody
so,
looks.
but how come you don't do that to come on my show? You look like Merle Haggard when you come on my
Get my fucking haircut on Friday. Look, my barber's a busy man, right?
He's a busy man. The lack of effort by
shout out to Jimmy the barber, who's the greatest barber in the history of barbers, by the way.
You
has
Dave
kept me in the
Sturcho
game for 10 years plus.
Dave Sturcho just doesn't seem into it today. You'd be like that guy in the Niners just walking back to the day.
Hey, this guy got hurt. You got to go in. Nah. No, like you're next on the depth chart. Like, no,
I don't know. I'm so glad we discussed it a little bit last week, but I hope that guy, like, if I was an owner, I'd be like, okay.
For 3 games.
I would call up. First thing I would do is call up the lawyer and say, listen, I know there's rules and there's contracts and NFL, what do you call it? The players agreement, whatever. But there's got to be a way. Just like it always, a lawyer's like, okay. What is he making? Like, he's making like $500,000 a week. All right. We're going to make that, like, that's what I would do. I'd be like, oh, no, I'm sorry. Yeah, I would be like, I'm sorry. Our lawyers are handling it. I can't comment. I would just know if he's getting $1 a week, I would make that like that $1 just not getting to his checking account. I know we have to pay him eventually, but think about that. And from getting paid how annoying that is.
The rule is via the NFLPA, you can't just cut somebody for conduct detriment. You have to suspend them first, I guess, because of this. Right. So they're suspending them for 3 games without pay, and then probably after the suspension's up, they're going to just cut them. So I mean, then you can what he did the other day,
it's awful. And if I was, I'm so glad the other players.
It felt like, even the other player was like, I've never seen anybody like that before.
And also, it goes against, it's like there's something about, forget about different, I mean, all sports are hard and all that shit, but it goes against football. There's probably some like linebacker who is going to have like no brain cells and he'll be dead by the time he's 45 and he stinks. And he's out there on a shitty team, not making the playoffs, and he's out there laying out his body. And then he finds out, like, you imagine, everything I've heard about NFL players is like after the game, especially Monday morning, just like me after playing pickleball, they can't move. Like they couldn't practice. People say they should have practice on Monday. I'm told that like the guys that play, they literally can't. They can't
practice until Wednesday.
I know, because their body, they have to take their Advils and all whatever else they're doing. And so there's a guy, like some third-year linebacker who stinks, is laying his body out, and all of a sudden he looks over, and some jerk-off making way more money than him, I'm not playing. I don't know if that doesn't cause
if I'm his agent, I quit.
Yeah, me too.
Like, what are you doing? Like, how do you pitch this to the next team?
And even worse is if that guy signed by another NFL team, shame on that team.
Right. Absolutely.
Unless now, if he was good and the Giants needed someone, I'd sign him. But I wouldn't. I'd rather go with some like second-year guy out of SMU.
Right.
You know what I wanted to do? My playoff predictions. Hold on one second. They fell.
The playoff predictions
for the GFP.
College.
This week I have winners: Texas, Ohio State, SMU over Penn State. Now, I think Penn State's going to beat them up, but I'm in a family pool and everybody's choosing Penn State. So I think, you know what? I got to go the other way.
It's a hell of a leg up if you get that win.
I also think I got Notre Dame winning the first round.
Mm-hmm.
Then in the second round, I got Arizona State winning, Oregon winning, Boise State winning, and Georgia. Then I got Oregon against winning, and I got Georgia winning. I have Oregon winning the whole thing. By the way, it's based upon.
Who, by the way, play Rutgers next year.
Yes, which see now again, you just brought up a sore point. All these stupid Rutgers has the most. We have the dumbest fan base I've ever seen. By the way, there's no fans really, and then we have dumb ones who are like, no. There's 7-5, and that's it. Oh, did you look at the schedule? We played Linden, Carteret, and Kenilworth this year.
They do
and
that
we replaced
every
it
year
with,
now.
We replaced it with in the history of me watching Rutgers football, even in the Big East, we didn't play, everybody we played stunk this year. Look it up. They all stink, okay? And next year, we play Ohio State, Penn State, Oregon, and Iowa. Look, even so, what I'm saying is, Shiano can go 6-6 and win Coach of the Year nationally easy. He's going to lose those 4. He's going to win. Think about it. That's impossible. I don't care how good we are.
I think, off the top of my brain, I think Oregon's coming here, and I think
Penn State's here.
Penn State's here, and then the rest of them.
That helps. Away. That helps a little bit because you're not winning there. I mean, I'd love to be anywhere. If we go 1-11 next year, but beat Ohio State, I'll take it. Only because of that one article, which I've said this on the show before, and you don't follow college football, but it's a funny headline. The headline said, Ohio State will never lose to Rutgers. Now, think about like in all sports, right? We know Davy and Goliath and old David and Goliath.
Any given Sunday. Yeah.
Somebody wrote in, will never. Like college sports, like the kick is up. Like, think about all the upsets in life. Like, that was the headline. And I remember being pissed. This was like years ago that thing came out. And then I was like, wait a minute, that's a great bet.
Now, and this is a big if. If Ohio State gets bounced, which I don't think they will in the first round, but if they do, right, and that could be the end of that coach, by the way. Now there's rumors.
Unless he goes college, NFL.
Smidge of a rumor that Mike Vrabel might be in line to take that job at Ohio State if Day is fired.
But no, Day won't get fired. He'll leave. Day can go. Day will go. I don't know where else.
I don't think Day. First of all, have you ever seen a more?
The guy loses 0.5 games a year. Okay, and Franklin, who's way worse, Franklin loses 1.5 games a year. Franklin loses less. We lose more games in October than they have in their entirety. Okay, and they want to fire this guy.
I'm just saying.
Will not. Day had. I don't know what you have to. You have to be Michigan's, but you have to. But they never lose. And they're always in the playoff. When it was 4, what is this guy?
Can you imagine that? Like here we are. Like when the NFL odds come out and they stack Dallas at like 9.5 to 10 wins, you're like, oh, all right, like imagine like being Ohio State every year, and it's like, well, how many games do you think they're going to lose? Well, we're going to set the line at 1/2.
Right, it's it. What the over?
Like, holy shit! What do you mean we're just not going to lose? Like, no, we're not.
Yeah, I think their over and under wins was probably 10.
Yeah, 100%.
And the Rutgers odds are always dead on. They always say they're always in that 5.5 spot right there. Which I think the last 2 years we did.
So basically, all you have to do is this year, like next year, when the Rutgers, obviously the schedule came out already, but when the season starts, like if you're going to place a bet on the over under, just think to yourself, are they going to be playing in a bowl game this year? Because if not, then take the under. That's it. It's really it.
And I don't know. Next year for Scarlet Knights, you know what happens to me? Listen, I have a disease. It's called being a Rutgers fan. So what happens is when the season over and Rutgers shits the bed in basketball, it goes into remission between like March and right around August. The first article comes out on NewJersey.com or the Star Ledger. It'll be a positive article about some lineman and his family, and I'll be like, oh, look how. And I'll look him up. He'll be a 2-star guy. I didn't even know his name. And
then following that, the Jimmy Palumbo 0-0 post.
Then the 0-0 post. And then of course we play Linden and Carteret over the season. And I'll get all right, 2-0. And then without fail, when we get the MRI, it always says you're going to lose 4 in a row. And when you lose 4 games in a row in New Jersey in any sport, if Carteret basketball loses 4 in a row, no one goes to the game. You know what I want for Christmas is to Rutgers to never lose 4 in a row ever again. Because when's the last time Ohio State or Penn State or any of these teams, Notre Dame, lost 4 in a row? We lose through holidays. Like it's like Labor Day and then it's Halloween and we haven't won. Oh, we haven't won since Labor Day. Like, no, I swear to God, Rutgers will draw 30, 40, 50,000 fans a game if they don't lose 4 in a row. Win one, lose one. Win one, lose one. Win one, lose it. 6-6. We're like, yeah. Instead, we go 4-0. Then we lose for 5 weeks. Everybody forgets. Oh, who do they play? What do they play? And then this year, another asshole. I'm on a rant now. Not only do we play Ohio State, I think we play Ohio.
We do.
And Miami of Ohio. What the fuck is with the Ohio's?
They love it. OH.
And by the way, and Miami, one of them, either Ohio or Miami, they're usually tough. So we'll probably get beat in one of those games. So Rutgers basically has to beat Ohio this year. And you know what's going to happen? Yankees are going to play Cleveland in the playoffs. Rutgers is going to lose to all the Ohio teams. And I'll be stuck here going to a shitty bowl on the day after. I can't even fly there if I wanted to.
Have we come up with any kind of game plan of what we want to do the day after Christmas for that bowl game? Are we doing anything? Are you going to go watch it somewhere? Maybe go to Pine Bar Bar and Grill?
That's right. That's on a Tuesday.
No, it's on a Thursday. No. It's on a Thursday night or a Thursday evening at like 5 o'clock.
It's a day after. You know what? Maybe we'll do it live from the Pine Bar. That might be fun. Game starts at 5. You have to take a ride down there. Maybe we'll do that. Well, actually, you know what? On that shitty subject, next Tuesday is
Christmas Eve.
Christmas Eve. What are we doing there? Are we going to do the show?
We'll talk about it after. We'll figure it out.
I think we should do the show. Should we do the show 1 o'clock?
I just had to do the same thing with another podcast. Everybody's kind of
maybe we'll do it. Maybe we'll do it Monday.
Yeah, probably.
We'll do a Christmas show. Also, holidays. Last thing I know in this show. This is like my show's becoming like I feel like my show is equal to like a Dable press conference. I got to control what you can control.
You got to give it 110%. Really,
100% control what you control. No, you stink. Listen, I know the holidays, and I know Dave, you're going through this. I love Christmas. I decorated my place. Matter of fact, maybe I'll post a video of all my tchotchke, tacky, perfect Christmas decorations.
Here we go.
We'll put that up next week. You can put a video up, right? I'll show you some shit. It's pretty fun.
Sure.
But I know it could be real stressful, man. I know I'm already. I just realized this morning, sitting at the funeral, that I'm like, I ordered shit for Nat. Like I didn't even like what. I have to go to the mall one day and just whip out the credit card. But I tell you what I do miss, and this is really for you. My daughter's 15, and she still loves Christmas, of course. But I miss you. Talking about that crawling doll and all that shit. You miss that, man. Really try to take in that Christmas morning before you got to go to your bullshit parents' house and eat the food and like watch shitty football. That 6:30 to 9 o'clock when the kids with the wrapping and the kids playing some shitty toy and you're hungover because you had too much to drink. Really enjoy that, man. My nephews are older now; they're starting to have kids, which is cool. But it's really what it is. I remember. I don't know how your Christmases were, but mine were awesome. My mother wasn't into. She hated Halloween. My mother hated all this. She just didn't care about the other holidays. But my mother was really Mahomes on Christmas. It was like, oh, okay, what's our record? Okay, well, now we're going to roll over everybody now. I always had a big pile, so did my sister and brother. Grandparents coming over. It was always a Bing Crosby music. I mean, my dad would pull out, usually around December 15th, he'd go upstairs and pull the boxes down with the records, and he'd put the Bing Crosby and Andy Williams music on, and we would set up the tree and help out a little bit and probably get in the way. My father was getting aggravated. My mother telling him to move the tree to the right, just like you see. But I have such
all-American Christmas, yeah.
Yeah, and then in the morning, I always got tons of, my uncles would buy stupid, sloppy, shitty gifts that broke. And it was awesome, loud. My gifts were loud and explosive. Nowadays, people go, "Oh, look what I got you! No, you gotta fucking go big." So if you're still buying gifts from, you gotta buy Miles something. If it's not bigger than him, it's a shitty gift.
So Christmas for me has been always like I come from divorced parents at like age 8. Yeah. So like after that, it was kind of like, wake up here, gotta go here, wake up here, gotta go here. I got a little twisted. But I will say, and again, the brain works in mysterious ways where I remember certain things. Like I can tell you what happened on this night on 1989, but I can't tell you what I ate for lunch yesterday. It's a weird thing, right? I remember my father to this day. Yeah, Ritz crackers. To this day, he would always we would obviously, me and my brother would ask for things. Like we had a list, like as kids, right? Everybody has lists, and I remember every year we'd go through the pile of gifts that my dad got. I'd say my mom got them, but no shot. Right? That's like the pile of gifts my dad got. And then we'd realize like, man, in our minds, we're like, man, we didn't get that thing that, we wanted, right? Like, whatever. And my dad would always just make some little like quip, stupid dad joke, like, what's that over there?
Oh, yeah,
what's over there? I'm just like, like get all excited. We find it, we open it. Me and my brother collectively tackled my father for the first like 8 years of my life. Every year we would tackle him to the ground, hug him. That kind of shit would resonate and stick with me to the point where now I want to do that for my kids.
You gotta please do it. I even listen. Money. I'm not saying go broke over, but you know what? Maybe I am. You know what?
Last night we had to make
8 years
of how much money to spend.
But 10 years from now, is anybody going to give a fuck that you spend $70 on a big, loud, shitty toy that Miles is going to go?
You know what I was fucking pumped about? I got the table football thing. Remember the thing you just electrify? They were just
you got electric football?
Yeah, that's way back in the day. Those things were great. Like, what's the play? I don't know. Just hit the on switch and watch ball.
Remember the passing was like a little. You had a pass that you could. No one could ever. They needed replay on every. I remember like my brother Frankie was like, no, kicked off the bottom part. You could.
Yeah.
That was. You know what I think happened with electric football? They planned it all that. Someone said, like the game was coming out in 37 minutes, and someone said, dude, what about passing? A guy went, oh, just take that little fuzzball and put it in the back of a guy with his arm up in the air.
And if it hits him, completion.
First down. And I remember one time my brother, I get my brother's listening and laughing. He says, oh, Ron Johnson was the running back for the Giants back then because we had like shit. Anyway, and he was way downfield. It was like a 50-yard. The most impossible. You know what? We should do research on this. Yeah. The most impossible play in all of sports is electric football. A 40-yard pass downfield with that fuzzball. That is, first of all, you can't even see it. A lot of times after a pass, you didn't find the fuzz thing anymore. You just go to the left.
It's like it's second and 7. Throw the ball incomplete. All right, it's 3rd and 7. Yeah, well, there's no more balls. So we're done.
Where'd it go? A big shag rug back in the day. Right. The other thing is, we had a guy on our block. God, you should post this. We had a guy on our block, and we called him Pickle. His name was John. I can't think of his last name right now. You know what he did? He was one of those like artists. He painted electric football guys. So you had to order from the company, which took like 7 months to get in. And you ordered a generic. They were like green or brown, whatever the hell they were. And then he would go in. So my brother, such a classic. My brother didn't know whether he was a Giant fan, but like Pickle didn't feel like doing the Giant. He would do the lines up just like this and shit. So my brother decided, I'm just going to do a Pro Bowl team. So I had one of each. So he had like a Packer, a Niner. And then he was like, really? And he, to this day, he came to my father's funeral. And I hadn't seen him in 100 years. I'm like, Pickle. But no one calls him Pickle. I forget what John, I forget his last name. And my brother will know. But we were trying to explain to him that, like, you're the only one in the world that draws. We bought the new game came out. A new electric football came out like 20 years ago, like a thing. But I went on eBay because I wanted to find a real old one, like a real, like, because you remember the new ones, like the field looked different and it hummed. It was like, the old one. Remember the old one? My mother like, shut that off. And then it would bubble out of bounds. And then my brother would always give me, remember you had to stroke the legs on the bottom because like every running back, my brother was older. He took the better running back. The better running back wasn't how he was in the league. The better running back was where every time I had a running back, he would get like 4 yards, but he's turning. Oh, he's going the other way. Like, you had to wait till he went out of bounds. That's got to be the worst great game ever.
That's the best.
The best. I swear. You know what? If they sell it at the store, you got to get that for Miles. He'll be like,
100%. We actually bought them. My wife has more. She had more toys, I think, growing up than I did. I was more of like a video game guy, but like she said, like,
see, that's why you suck. You got to go buy.
You know about football was Madden. Madden and I were like, he was like the grandfather. Another grandfather.
Get him electric football and play.
We got him like logs. These logs that you fucking build or whatever. Lincoln logs. That's
that's great. Yeah, that's awesome.
That was my wife.
The only thing is, you got to bear down. You got to sit and. If you don't play it with them, the kids don't give a shit. You got to and get your brother. Whatever you do, you got to have someone in cahoots. Like, and they start building and they get into it. I'm telling you. But you got it. I don't even.
Oh, we also graduated. We graduated to we got him a race car bed instead of a crib. So he's leaving his crib and going to a big boy bed.
There you go, big boy.
We need because he's an escape artist now and he's starting to climb.
When did he have his first night in the big boy?
No, we didn't get it yet. It's for Christmas.
Oh, you got to do post on that. That's big news.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Anyway, try to do all that shit. Get all that stupid shit.
Yeah,
and your daughter. I know the show's going long, but I don't care. Your daughter, you got to get, dude. You got to go by yourself to the mall and buy something crazy, shitty, cool for your daughter.
Well, what we did for her is my house doesn't really. It's not the size of a house where you can just like run around. Like they do have a playroom. It's not that big. So what we did was she's been like grabbing onto anything and then throwing her leg up and trying to do like that ballerina bullshit.
Okay,
right?
You got her the bar.
Yeah, we got her the bar and we got her a brand new, nice long mirror for her room.
There you go.
She could practice in her room. So
you know what? I'll have Natalie. I'm gonna have Natalie because Natalie has one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna have her do it. I'm gonna send it. Maybe I'll wait till after Christmas.
Like a how-to.
No, just to show you.
Yeah, for sure.
As a matter of fact, I will be dragging you to one competition. So your daughter will love it. Right. Not for the whole time, just for a half hour. Cool. Well, okay. Don't forget, I'll do real quick. ChasingMiracles.com. Shit your body needs. Go get those stem cell patches. They work. My mother's on them. Her friends are on them. Which brings us to, again, ChasingMiracles.com. Go talk to Tommy and Donna and get the X39 and X49 patches. Which brings us to CornholeLevel.com. Now, I got something very funny. My buddy Johnny Kelly from LA ordered shit from cornholelevel.com and they didn't come. So he's involved with Caprio and I got involved. Like, all right, let me figure it out. It turns out he shipped them to his mother's house in Boston because he knew he was going to be home. And he's like, Jimmy, what the he's a Boston guy. He's like, what the fuck? Your cornhole, they're not coming in. I get word from Caprio, Jimmy, they were delivered December 6th. He's like, I'll make good on it. I'll make sure he gets them. So I call up Kelly and I'm like, John, they said December 6th. He's like, hang on a second. My mother's got a bunch of shit in this back room from all the QVC shit. He's on the phone. He goes, oh, here it is. I got it. So thank God, cornholelevel.com. Go check it out and get your cornhole levelers, which, of course, I got to hold up. There it is. God bless America. Oh, I got to get this Bryn Smith guy out of here. He's making me sick. There it is right there. I got the Rutgers one. And they sponsor, of course, cue the music.
The most anticipated in all sports.
Yes. And you know what? This year, though, I feel like even you haven't disagreed with me because I feel like nobody's really gone up or down. The teams that suck.
They're just not moving. They stink and they stink. I
have the Buffalo Bills, of course. It's very good. Miami Dolphins stink, Jets stink, Patriots stink. That's been that way a while. I reduced the Steelers to good because that's what Tomlin's been.
They got handled. They got handled by Philly.
Right. And Pittsburgh, Tomlin took over the Steelers in 1948, and they're pretty much good every year. I have the Baltimore Ravens as good at 95. They could jump. I bumped up the Bengals to average at 6-8. Cleveland Browns, you stink. Houston Texans, I got you good. Indianapolis Colts, sorry, I had to drop you to stink. Jaguars stink. Titans stink. Kansas City Chiefs, still very good.
Yeah,
at least this game was like a normal win for a good team. Denver Broncos, I have you as good. Chargers, sorry, I dropped you to average. And the Raiders, you stink. You're fucking over my Giants. I want that top pick. All right, Philadelphia Eagles. Just like the Chiefs, they're very good. Washington Commanders average. And for the first time in a long time, your Dallas Cowboys have been bumped to average. Which is a huge, I knew maybe it's a Christmas gift to you. I don't know how long.
Miracle.
They're 6-8. They're still in the hunt. And maybe I was happy because their draft picks are going to be like they'll take Gucci in the first round. And of course, my New York Giants, I thought about upgrading them to horrific H, but I didn't. I kept them at stink. The Detroit Lions, very good. The Minnesota Vikings, very good. And the Packers, very good. I have all three teams at very good there, except for Chicago Bears, because
Up
that loudmouth Caleb Williams, who acted like he was the greatest thing ever. Not that he's that bad, because
he's very bad. He's very bad.
But he stinks. Enough of his cocky ass. He didn't win. He didn't do shit at USC either. He didn't win. They lost 5 in a row, I think, with him behind quarterback. I would have abused him. Like, you're supposed to be all this. You lose 5 in a row. What do you should have went to Rutgers? That's what they do. Tampa Bay Buccaneers upgraded to average. The Atlanta Falcons upgraded to average. Now the Falcons are definitely Falcons and Tampa Bay are teams that you got to watch for your Cowboys.
Well, the Falcons made a massive change yesterday. Kirk Cousins has been benched for Michael Penix Jr., which is nuts.
Which is
7-7, they're benching their quarterback.
But you know what? Everywhere I read, they said he really lost it. Cousins. I didn't really watch any of their games.
I love Kirk Cousins as a guy, as a person.
So do I. That show
really made him.
He's another guy. Kirk Cousins is like the Mike Tomlin of quarterback. Like, he never sucks. He's not great, but he never sucks.
He never
sucks. Yeah, he doesn't suck. New Orleans Saints. I'm sorry, you stink. I know, Mike, that can hurt my Patreon, but most of my Patreon followers
at 1:30 said the Saints were awesome.
They stink.
I waited for an opportune time.
The Panthers stink. The one division that I'm really, you know what? I'll tell you what I'm going to do. We'll do something a little different here. The NFC West, to me, I'm struggling with. I go on different websites.
I think they're all average.
There you go. I got Rams, Seahawks, Cardinals as average, and the Niners, though, I have them at stink. They're mostly because of injuries, and I think the Niners will fare. I think the Niners are going to end up in last place in that division. Do you agree with that?
No. I think the Cardinals fall off. I mean, they're all playing each other over the next couple of weeks. They all kind of
We'll see
going to be banging
happens.
around, but
because I can't say there was part of me.
The Niners have been bitten right now by the injury bug.
There was part of me that wanted to give them all stinks, and I said I can't. Then I was like, wait a minute,
one of those teams are going to the playoffs.
Exactly right. So that's it. We have 13 stinks, which is down from 16 last week. We have 9 averages, so I definitely upgraded up to average a lot. 4 goods and 6 very goods. I guess the team that I dropped from very good was Pittsburgh Steelers. Got dropped from very good. So that's it. NFL stinks list by cornholelevel.com. Don't forget, go to Absolute Eyewear. Go have some eggnog with Charles Oakley, 42 Main Street, Woodbridge, New Jersey, 732-326-3937. Hey, did the John Sterling thing stop? Is that over? It's in January?
No, it's this weekend.
Oh, I can't do it this weekend. Shit. Anybody go right next to Absolute Eyewear is a Woodbridge brewery and John
great spot.
It's like $90.
I mean, it's John fucking Sterling.
I know. I'm making a mistake. I'll regret it. I know it. So go to go to Absolute Eyewear. They got all kinds of shit.
Before you get out of here and completely, jump off the face of the earth. I need to know your opinion. What is flying in the skies? What are these drones about? I got my opinion.
I think it's a bunch of individuals who like various clubs around the country that have purchased these obnoxious big drones and are just fucking around. But I definitely think it's embarrassing that we don't know. They're closing airports. They're closing facilities for an hour because of a drone.
Mm-hmm.
I know you love Trump, but you can't shoot him down because if you miss,
well, no, he retracted all that.
Yeah, if you miss, but like there should be. I know you do. There should be. You know what it is? My father used to say this all the time on a job. You know what? There's no system here. That's exactly what. There should be. Maybe they got to pass laws. In other words, okay, you want to buy a drone, and let's face it, drone. If you have money, you can buy a drone the size of your house if you want. But you can't fly it over Linden Airport or over Teterboro or over LaGuardia. There's got to be rules. And if they shoot one down or get it to come down, and you respond, you can't. Like, there's got to be some laws here. What are you doing?
So yeah, I mean, there's
now, have you drank the Kool-Aid? You think it's like aliens?
No, it's not the Kool-Aid per se. Listen, if it was an adversary, it'd be gone already. That's my opinion.
That's what I think too.
If it was Russia or Iran or whoever, like they'd be gone and done, right? And then Trump at first was like, shoot him out of the sky, and then now he's like, hey, government knows what's going on. Why they won't tell anybody, I have no idea. I'm not staying at my golf course this weekend in Bedminster because they're over there. Who knows? right?
Yeah, you can't have drones over a golf course that the future president. What's going on
There's
here?
drones. There's so many of them. That's why at first I was like, what a bunch of nerds that are flying drones. But now there's like thousands, right? And I'm like, oh,
by the way, you can't fly these. These aren't the ones. I have a shitty drone in my house. It's this big.
So,
it's almost impossible to fly. You push the thing up, it slams against the ceiling. I can get it hovering.
I've ruined the drone. I've ruined the drone.
I hit one outside. It's still flying in Ramsey somewhere.
Right.
But again, it wouldn't. If I had a bomb on that, would be an M80 would take that. With the weight of an M80 would bring it down.
So what they're saying is there's a report that came out that said that there was supposed to be a shipment to New Jersey with some kind of radioactive material in it, in this canister or whatever, and it arrived to the port damaged, empty. So now all of a sudden you're like, what? You know, like, so now you're Mr. Quote missing this random shit, and that's why you deploy the drones to look for radiation levels and all this other shit. And there's like technology. Great theory. Right?
Yeah, sure.
Fine theory. Then there's also people saying like there's plasma in the sky, which is these orbs, these little, it's a little bit more scientific part of things. Like, we don't know what they are. We're sending the drones up to go see what they are at night and get a little bit more research on them. So we're not all panicked. So that's another one. That's the one I lean towards. Reason being, look outside right now. It's the clearest day of the winter. How many drones are flying in the air right now? None. Right. So it's like, okay, so if this was radioactive,
why are they only at night?
Right. And they're saying like, oh man, like we're searching high and low for this nuke, right? Wait, so so during the day we just like, fuck it. It's like, wait, time out. So that's why I don't think it's anything to do with that. If there is some kind of phenomena up there, right? And there's going to start releasing information and shit. I'm not going down. I'm not putting the tinfoil hat on, but I'm just saying, like, if there's stuff that we don't know about, then go research it. And how do you research it? You get close to it.
Yeah, maybe it is a good thing going on, or maybe that radioactive material is either. I heard Chris Gucci picked it up at the port and he handed it off to Tom Bollinger, and they are just having trouble finding these people.
Gone.
It's gone. I also found out that I thought the drones were editing Beer League the series from their drone, and or we were setting up drone shots for Beer League the series, and they just didn't work out there.
But anyway, they're also starting to pop up everywhere else. So you're telling me there's missing radiation everywhere else too? Like,
listen, we're all going to be gone, and
I just want a couple more years before it's all said and done.
You know what? I guess isn't that awful? It's been a couple more years. You just the Cowboys win, and then if the Cowboys won the Super Bowl this year, you'd be like, the drones are fine.
Seriously, fly them in my house. Actually, store them in my house. That's fine. We're good.
If the Cowboys win the Super Bowl while we're still doing this show. And I won't allow you to say anything negative about anything. You could be like, Jimmy, we lost the house. Everybody's sick. But the Cowboys. Hey, you're right.
Where are you doing this podcast from? Cardboard box I found. I'm
outside.
I'm on Starbucks' Wi-Fi right now across the street. It's like,
the Cowboys. We're going to be doing a podcast from a drone. Don't forget Pine Tar Bar and Grill, which we may be at December 26th for the Rutgers game. And also, don't forget Lisa Ruane, 201-725-1251. If you're struggling with some kind of depression, anxiety, give her a shout. She can tell you what you have to do. Well, again, we try to do a smaller show, but we got off on funerals and life, which I think is a better part of the show anyway. Well, that's it. We know Cowboys and Giants still stink, but the Cowboys are average. And that's it. I will see you.
We'll talk.
We can't do it Christmas Eve, right?
No. We'll figure it out. Probably Monday. We'll figure it out.
We're gonna probably do Monday. We're gonna have to put together. All right, that's it. God bless everybody. Merry Christmas. Everybody. We'll see you next week for one last. Is that the last show of the year?
No, we'll probably have to do back-to-back Mondays, probably, if anything, because New Year's Eve isn't that big a deal. But whatever. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Good night, everybody.
Figure it out. Good night, everybody.